So we have started this Coffee with Achievers in order to provide some guidance. I'll quickly share you what are the key takeaways from this. We provide guidance along with the inspiration and motivation. So you can have guidance directly taught by the guest lectures, and you need not spend much more time on learning how to do the pathway and all. So with this, after this guidance, you can have a clear pathway and you can set on your own. we'll have a we have created this platform to clear confusion and doubts, and you can have a chance to interact and meet successful people. Let me introduce our guest, Shravantika and Shreya. Both of them had 3 years of experience in karting and represented India in international competitions, and are the award winners of Outstanding Women in Motorsports by FMSCI. So welcome, Shravantika and Shreya.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Hi. Good evening, all.
Yeah, good evening. Okay. So let's move on to the session. Could you let us know how you started this? Where the thought started for you, both of you, to get into motorsporting?
So when I was 9, my dad took me to a track nearby, and when I was in Vadodara for a small vacation, my dad took me to a track nearby, which is Mira Eda's track. He took me there, and I tried karting for the first time, and I learned a little bit about the basics of karting, and like Mira Eda herself was really helpful. And then I thought I did well, and I really liked karting. Like the first time I tried it, I I really was like, oh my god, I so want to do the sport. And then I asked my dad, how do I get into racing and everything. So he just Mira Ada and her dad just guided us on how to get into racing. My dad took me to my first two-stroke Rotax beginner training in Bangalore, where I tried out two-stroke karting for the first time, which was like really new for me, and it was such a nice experience, and I really enjoyed it. Like the speed and everything, I just wanted to keep on driving. And then my dad, I really liked karting. He knew that, and then he put me into a few different trainings and everything. Then I took part in my first championship in 2018, the Rotax.
Nice. Yeah. Over to you, Shravantika.
Yeah, so I went to Hyderabad in 2017 with my dad because he was officiating as a steward for the Rotax Championship. So first time I was seeing a proper Rotax Championship, and then so I was actually inspired by the way how kids racing and all. So I wanted to actually try it out. So in 2017 December, I went to Miko Motorsports training program. So December 2017 was my first training, and the team was pretty convinced with the way I drive, and then I was actually really happy to progress in motorsport. So in 2018, I took part in the X30 challenge. So and then in 2019, I took part in the Rotax Championship. I drove only one round, and then I did the X30 National Championship. I did all 5 rounds, and then I represented India in World Motorsport Games in November. So all this happened, progressed, and now I'm moving on to Formula 1300 this year.
Yeah, it's really great, and we respect you, you both of you, for representing our country in the international motorsporting. It's nice. So,
Thank
how was your initial first year? Like, whenever you came into this sport, how was the initial first year for you?
For me, in 2018, I guess it was pretty hard because when I found out that there were only guys in my category, I got pretty scared because all those guys were really experienced, and guys are like, they say guys are mentally stronger and physically stronger. I got pretty scared, and then when I went on track, I just raced with them, and I don't know, that year was kind of not the best for me because I was still scared of the speed and wasn't really used to it. But then slowly I started getting more used to the speed, and I wasn't scared of it anymore. And then I started getting better, and I started entering the podium places, and beating the guys and everything. But I guess my first year was like my learning year for me to understand what karting really is and how the competition is going to be.
Yeah. So for me, the first year was very good because I was learning a lot of new things. Then I was actually put into the situation where I had to apply all my skills, and I had to actually better my timing, and also my entire concentration was on that. So I was pretty happy about my first year because I had so many experienced people teaching me about the sport, and then I was actually part of the other side of the fence also. I was actually officiating many events. So yeah, 2018 was really good for me because that was my first year into karting. Initially, I was actually a bit scared about how things will go because the reason why I got into motorsport late was because of this, because I'm pretty scared about the things and the procedures. So for first round I was pretty scared, and after that I got used to it because everybody was friendly and I was able to improve on my timings and all that. Everything was supportive. I was happy about.
Great, great. So you have represented our country, right? So how was the feeling there in your first event while representing our country? Like, how did you feel?
Yeah, so actually I was selected for the World Motorsport Games, so just like the Olympics in motorsport. So it was a really great feeling. I was accompanied by another driver from Coimbatore named Surya Vardhan. So actually we both were the teammates for the karting slalom cup that happened there. So it was very great experience because the weather conditions, the type of cart, and the way the event was arranged, everything was very new to me because I haven't seen something like that. And representing our country is like so much. It's a really great thing to do. So I was feeling proud about the hard work, time, the effort put by my parents and my friends and well wishers, which got me there. So I was actually thankful to everybody behind all the. I mean, I was just driving there, but the entire procedure, all the work behind this event was done by my parents, friends, well wishers, and all. So I'm actually really thankful to them, and because their support only, I was there. So yeah.
I had participated in the Malaysia Rotax Asia Championship in 2019, and at that moment, I was the only racer with the Indian flag on my card, and I don't know, it was a really good feeling to know that I was the only Indian there, and they were also experienced people, and I was just like, I'm here to drive and just learn more about karting. Just went there, and I did pretty well because there was a lot more exposure, and just having the Indian flag on my helmet and on my cart over there was like such a good feeling because everyone else was from places like Malaysia, Thailand, and all those foreign places. I was the only one from India, and I felt kind of alone at that moment, but I was also really happy that I was the only one who was Indian over there, and like I could show that Indian racers are not just like not bad racers. They're all not all of them are bad racers. The Indian racers also have a lot of talent in them. Just wanted to show everyone that India is not any less than any other country in racing or karting.
Really great. Like at such an young age, you had a lot of experience and you had got a great chance to represent our country there. So it's really nice. So how about the championships? Like your relationship with the co-drivers, like how would be the atmosphere there
In
in
the
competition?
championships, I've participated in Rotax and X30, and all the co-drivers and they never act like they're enemies. Like only on track they're like really serious and they want to fight for the win. But otherwise they're so genuine and so nice that even if you like beat someone on track, they'll get mad at you for some time, but then they'll get over it because they know you're like their family. You're there at the track and you're gonna be with them for like probably the rest of your life till you make it to the next stage of racing. And they never mean, they're just so nice that even if you say that they're bad racing, I think they will not try to, you know, tell you that they are better at racing. They just accept it and they'll just prove themselves on the track. They will never say that I'm a better racer than you, this and that. They're just so nice. They're like family. When you go to the track, everyone is like family. No one is your enemy. Like only on track there's that tension, that pressure between the racers. But off track we're all family and they're so nice. Like you could never ever be sad or like mad at anyone at the track.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me because we actually drive in the same championship. So being part of the racing fraternity is like very good because they all treat you like your, I mean, the parents or your fellow competitors. They all treat us as if like we're friends and we've been, you know. So there's no the enmity is not there. So which is the best thing because when there's enmity, there's more violence in the track. So I think we're all good friends. So yeah, we've been sharing. I mean, actually, even the co-drivers share, you know, the track conditions. They say what to do and what not to do. So we get to learn a lot of things from them. So yeah, I'm really happy that we have such good co-drivers because I don't think any other sport has this kind of understanding and friendship among the competitors. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's good to hear that the competition is like healthy competition.
Yeah.
So like how do you overcome the failure and all the negativity?
So I guess when as far as I've raced, every time I've lost, I've almost felt like crying. But then I've thought that what's the point of crying or like getting mad? You should just, forget it and just do better or try your best for the next race. Like when I was in Malaysia, I kind of got disappointed because the cart was not at its best performance, and then I had to leave one of the races for that. I had to leave in the first lap, and I got pretty sad and I was pretty mad at my cart and like the people who set up my cart. But I thought, what's the point of being mad at someone? You should just move on and just forget it and just normally take it as it was nothing happened. Just move on and be chill and just don't pressurize yourself. And
Yeah, so negativity will happen. It's part of any sport or anything that happens to you. But I don't consider losing as negative thing that has happened to you. It's because of you that happened. And also, like, if you don't finish in the podium, that's not like losing because if you improve on your timing or if you improve on something that you've been lagging so far, I consider it as a win because getting gaining 1/10 or 2/10 is still an achievement to you. So, and in spite of all this, there are other negativities that can happen. Uh, but right things will happen at the right time. So you have to trust the universe and its timing. So, right things will happen at the right time.
Yeah, like we can learn this from both of you. Like we can learn to take everything in a sportive way, understand in a sportive way. So like Shravantika, would you guide our students on how to get into motorsporting? Like what is the stepping stone? How to start for an amateur? Yeah.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, yeah, please do.
Yeah. So now I'll talk. I mean, Shreya will talk about the karting, and I'll be talking about the Formula cars. How to get into motorsport. So first, yeah. So the governing bodies are FIA and FIM is for two-wheeler. Since I'm not really like I don't have much knowledge about two-wheeler, I don't want to misguide you. So I'll be talking about four-wheelers now. So the FIA is the ultimate governing body, and comes the FMSCI. FMSCI is the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India. So they actually give you the license and it's the National Sporting Authority, which is affiliated to the Indian Olympic Association. So for events to take place in India, you need to get permission from them. Yeah, so now I'll move into various disciplines in motorsport. So we have kart. Yeah, Shreya, let's talk about karting.
We have karting, and karting has two different types of engines. There are two-stroke and four-stroke. Two-stroke are mainly meant for like professional championships, like the championships on the Canada race, like Rotax and X30. When you want to compete in a proper grid and like earn points and everything. Four-stroke is like kind of a really slower car. Two-stroke cars are about 125 cc and everything. And four-stroke cars are a lot slower, and they're not usually meant for professional championships. But there are events organized by JK Tire, which are like Sodi cars and Girls on Track, and all those. They're usually four-stroke cars only. So for any beginners who want to join karting, you should first go into four-stroke and then progress to two-stroke according to your performance.
Yeah, so now I'll talk about the Formula cars. So initially you have to be really strong in your karting, and then you'll have to move into Formula cars. So the first step in Formula cars is Formula 1300. Uh, and Formula 1300 is like you can see in the picture. So that is Formula 1300. And on top, you can see the karting picture. So that is the two-stroke kart. So yeah, now in Formula 1300, and then you move into Formula 1600, then to 2000, and then you progress into the GP3s and F4, F3, and F2, and then you reach F1. So for Formula 1300 is actually 1300 cc, and then goes the other one. So yeah, you have to be really strong in karting because karting is the basic thing, and then if your base is strong, then you'll be able to make good progression in Formula cars. Yeah, so this is about the FMSCI license. So many people don't know how to get proper FMSCI license because you need the license to race in any kind of championship. So you have to get trained from specific academies. So this is the FMSCI website. I've just screenshotted it and then I've added. So this is the training academies thing. So then if you go there, you'll be able to see two-wheeler academies, four-wheeler academies, and karting academies. So they'll specify few academies there with the contact number and email ID. So if you contact them, then you'll be able to know about the training programs provided by them. So once you get trained, once you finish like level 2 training with them, then you can apply for the license. So FMSA, if you type FMSA license in the Google search engine, then you will be able to actually go. Once you finish your training academy, if you contact the same academy that you got trained from, they'll be able to help you with the license procedures. Yeah. So championships in India. So karting championships. Yeah.
Karting championships, when you go into two-stroke, there's two different types of engines to the X30 and Rotax. The Rotax are slightly faster than the X30 engines. X30 engines are a bit slower than the Rotax, and they're almost the same, we can say. But there's still a little difference of experience and like the racing lines, the speed, the braking, and everything. So there are two different kind of experiences. But when you progress to two-stroke, you can choose either X30 is an individual championship and Rotax is a team championship, which means X30 is organized by Mecco Motorsports, where you can individually participate without a team. Rotax is also organized by Mecco Motorsports, where you have to go with a team. You have to represent your team at the championship and earn points for your team.
Yeah, so Formula Cars, JK Tire National Racing Championship and MRF National Racing Championship are the two types of championship held in India. So in JK Tire Championship, you have F4 LGB. So under F4 LGB, there's three different classifications. There's overall classification, there's ladies class, and there is rookie championship. So for the ladies championship, it's actually brought up by the Women in Motorsport Commission by FMSCI. So they actually support. There's a women's racing team also named Ahuda Racing. So the FMSCI Women's Commission actually promotes this, and we have the form and F1300. So that this is another separate race for all the novice. It's called the Novice Cup, which runs under the 1300 cars. So for the MRF National Championship, we have Formula 1300 running, we have Formula 1600, and we have Formula 2000. So yeah, so these are the different kinds of championships in India. And for karting, actually for four-stroke, we have the Saudi National Karting Championship. But to get into professional racing, you have to get trained under a proper two-stroke, karts, and then you have to get into racing. That's the way it goes. So yeah, so that's it. Yes.
Yeah, great, Shravantika. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for sharing. I guess most of them they can understand like what is the procedure at the starting, and it's like really nice. So, do you have any fun element which happened at your championship to share with us?
Yeah, go. I'll go, Shreya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so fun element as in there are a lot of fun things that happen in the track from, like inside the track also there are a lot of fun things that happen because even healthy competition is actually fun because the way you drive is fun. Like the thing is fun in motorsport. So uh, fun as in like you can't specify about few things in fun. Generally, motorsport is fun.
We at the track sometimes like besides racing, I guess we have some fun competitions like with the guys usually. I guess we have running races at the track. That the track is about 1.2 kilometers. We just all run to see who's the fastest, and like this, we just have some competitions with guys to see who's the better racer or anything, just for fun, not really that serious. Like sometimes during practice sessions, we take it as a race and see whose timing is better, who's the faster racer. Otherwise, there's not much. We just relax and there was a family at the track.
Okay. So we have questions. So shall I start? Shall I start telling the questions to you?
Yeah.
So, how much time will it take for a license and for clearing all the levels of training?
So for clearing levels of training, it's actually a 2-day training program. So you finish the level one and then you finish the level two, and then uh, I think after level two, if you're really satisfied with your timing or if your trainer's like really satisfied with your timing, then they'll recommend for you to progress into the license part. So it's actually 2 weekends because level one is one weekend and now level two is the other week. I mean, the weekend where the team plans for the next training program, and then after that you apply. I think within 3-4 days you get your license.
So, what was the one thing or thought that kept you going?
Me going. So the support by my parents, my friends, families, the way they encourage you, so and your fellow competitors and people part of the federation. Like I would like to specify a few people here. So first is Akbar uncle. He's the M Sports team owner, and he actually he won't actually come and he'll guide you a lot because he's very experienced person. So even the few things whatever he says is like so valuable, and it'll have hundreds of meaning in it. So if you listen to that all that and all, so and he encourages you in few places. And my dad, my mom, then we have the Women in Motorsport Commission. So they're actually a huge support for us. So Miss Sita Raina is the chairperson for women. So Sita auntie has been supporting all the women actually, and Sajeev uncle. So he's the karting commission chairman, and he's been providing this support, and he's been giving me tips about Formula 1300. He's been giving me few tips me to progress in motorsport, and all my coach like Sandeep, Vishnu, Yash, Akash, so many people. So it's so many people who actually empower me. And marshals, you take the chief marshal, Mr. Vijay Kumar. So he'll tell on track things, and also he'll say like, see, the track condition is this, you have to do. And then no, actually they are the fun there. And Fayaz, secretary of the meet, and he's part of Miko Motorsports. So all of them are the ones who help me.
The things that kept me going were probably my parents' encouragement, my family's support. Like my grandparents also sit at home and like ask my dad about the results. They watch the race and they always support me. Like you can win if you just try. We know you. You can do this. You can win in everything. And then I guess just other co-drivers or coaches was, and mainly my mechanic in the X30 championship was Nagaraj, and he was always so supportive. Like he never went to any other of my co-drivers or my competitors, any of the guys. He never went them and told them you have to win or do this. But every single time after one of my practice sessions, he would come to me and tell me, why are your lap timings not as good as theirs? Why are you missing off on that 1/10? That you know you can do better than them. Why are you missing off on that much? What's going on? Like he's always there, and sometimes even when I feel like giving up, like I know I can't do a better fast time than the first person, then he just says that you can do it. You're just thinking that you're not able to do it. He's there and he tells me that the guys are not that big of a competition, especially the guy who's in first place. And when I'm running in second, he's like, you can beat him. All you have to do is just win by that 1/10, that those 2/10s. You just have to take. You have to believe in yourself, and you just have to beat the guys. Like my mechanic was, he's so supportive. Like I do not think I'll be able to reach where I am right now without him.
Yeah, great. So I would like to thank FMSCI Women in Motorsports too, because I have seen their initiatives to help women grow. So I have been part of one of the webinar with Sita ma'am. So like she was like really a great support and encouragement for women over there. So it's really great initiatives taken by them. I hope it would reach to everyone so soon. So we have one more question like. Apart from professional racer, what are the other career options?
Yeah, so there are lots of career options in motorsport other than being a professional race driver. Because me personally, I don't, I mean, if I could get into F1, I could actually go. But my dream is not ultimately reach F1. So I have other dreams in motorsport, like to be part of the fraternity, to work for the fraternity, because I like being a official for an event more than me driving. It's just that because in this age you should actually, experience all sorts of possibilities in motorsport. I embrace them, and moreover for the love of sport. So there are other options like you can be a marshal, you can be the steward, you can be the in marshalling there are various forms. So we had one webinar for all women under the thing called marshal and volunteer training, because you can become a race engineer, you can become flag marshal, you can become post marshal. There are so many things under that. And if anybody wants the presentation that we did, we can actually get permission from the FMSA and share it to you, because you'll get a wide knowledge about each and every single thing and career options available. It's just that you have to keep following the FMSA website, because you'll get small updates about the seminar that is happening, where you can get trained for, to become a marshal. Because for women, we finished the level 1 training, and the level 2 is field training. So people who have sent us the concerns for field training, we're actually waiting for the tracks to open so that we'll be able to progress and then show the different types of training that you have to undergo to become part of the other side of the fence, which is officiating and marshalling. And actually, they can be, marshals and officials are a greater driving force for you, because they help. They they're actually, they won't give you, tips saying, you have to drive like this or that. It's just that they'll motivate you in some way or the other, because the entire event successfully happens only because of them, because of the hard effort they put. and the right calls they take, it's only because of that they win trans successfully with all disciplines maintained.
Okay. So regarding the cost of training, I guess as Shravantika told, you can check out the FMSCI page and you can check out the training institutes and talk to them. So I
Yeah,
start with
I can tell you the starting range. It's actually for 39,000 or something for 2 days. So yeah, for level one and level two it remains the same. But to be more, I'm not 100% sure because it depends on the training and it depends on the academy. So you can actually check the website and you can call them and inquire to know more.
Yes, great. Like, could you please once again tell the from the start, like orally, like where to check from FMSCI? So there are questions like how to start, how to start. So can you just tell in a line way, like what after the
To start first, initially you have to get trained. So once you get trained, you will get a certificate saying so and so has completed this training in karting, in two-stroke karting, and then you you upload your personal details. You should upload your medical report signed by a doctor. Then you should upload your certificate, and then within 3 to 4, maximum 1 week, you'll get your license. So because generally I applied during and your license is only valid for 1 year because you'll have to keep applying it every single year. Yeah, so your license is valid only for 1 year. Karting has different set of license. There's different set of license for challenges, national championships, and international championships. So for international championship, it should be FIA authorized. If you're in two-wheeler, it should be FIM authorized. And once you get your license, you can actually apply. You can actually go and race in the championships. So for karting, you have, and the license is different for karting and four-wheeler racing. You can't use your karting license and drive for four-wheeler, but you can use your four-wheeler license to drive karting championships. And then that's how you get into it. So once you get into the team, and then if you prove your performance there, then they'll start, and then the team's manager will actually plan your uh, progress in motorsport. Please listen to your team people because they'll provide the best advice. If they say do another year of karting, please do another year of karting, because once you know if you keep listening to the team and if you obey to their orders, it's actually beneficial for you for your progression in motorsport.
and how far is motorsport here in India different from other countries?
In India, I guess the karting is kind of different because when I went to Malaysia, there's a grid of almost 30 drivers in each category, and there's more exposure. The tracks are a little bigger, wider, and there's more grip, and the tracks are a little better than India's track. The grid is really a large number, so you will get more exposure. There's more competition. They're very competitive drivers, so you will learn more racing in Malaysia. Whereas in India, there's usually about 9 to 10 people in a grid in each category, and yeah, I guess Malaysia or like any other foreign place, you get more exposure. There's a larger grid number and there's more competition. There's more competitive drivers over there.
How to get into this, like how to start career in this field? I guess this was already answered on both the ends, based on driving and based on the professional thing also, which
Yeah,
was said by Shravantika. And Sita ma'am, if you are there, we would like to talk to you. So I have seen Sita ma'am's question here.
yeah, she's there. Auntie?
Yeah.
Hello.
Sita ma'am, hi.
Hi.
How are
What a
you?
wonderful event you have put together.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Lovely. And I want to what do you call it, tell you that you're absolutely in the right track. This is so important, this webinar that you pulled together for people to join. And Shreya and Shravantika are our shining lights and stars where motorsports goes at the grassroots level. You were talking about an international event, right? There's a thing called Girls on Track, which was brought to India. And it is for the karting level because we want to inspire girls to come up from the grassroots and go up the ladder to all the categories that Shravantika and Shreya have been talking about, into the four-wheelers, into the LGB4, etc., etc., etc. So it is a karting level competition, but it teaches you about the mechanics of the car. It teaches you about, why don't you, Shravantika and Shreya, why don't you talk about it a bit?
Yeah, so GOT, it happened in India. It happened in actually first round happened in Bangalore with Sodi Karting Championship. So
Correct.
GOT is basically you will have 4 variants in that, and you will have to take part in all 4. So the first thing is karting slalom, which will go under the 4-stroke carts. Second thing is the simulator racing. Third thing is tire changing. Fourth thing is your reflex action. So it's called the Dynavision, and it's actually it's given by the Sports Dynamics, the famous fitness center for all motorsport athletes and other athletes, because yeah, it's a good fitness center. So the GOT is actually, yeah, slalom is you go in between cones, and then it's there for 2-wheelers also. So yeah, Shreya.
I would say Girls on Track is a pretty good experience for people who want to start up racing. Yes, all women who want to start up racing or girls who want to go into karting. It teaches you about all a few different fields in racing, what you need to know to be successful in karting. Like you learn how to take care of your own car. You learn how to drive in a simulator when suppose you're not able to make it to the track. You will your reflex skills will also be better because of the Dynavision. Then you do karting slalom, which will help you with your turns and everything. And tire changing will just help you with your kart, and it's all overall just meant to help you become a better racer in karting or get into karting and know what you need to do to be a good racer.
Okay. Sita ma'am, would you tell us how to get into this industry, not just as a racer, because there are many questions asking how to come into this. Maybe not as a racer also. Is there any part for an engineer to do? Like how could they come in? Like what is the procedure and all?
The various categories. So, like Shravantika said earlier, the various engagements. But my thing is, why don't you share an email address in which people can write in and be in more detail? Because I've heard the whole program. They've explained it twice or thrice how to get in. So, the website of the FMSCI, fmsci.co.in. If you go there, there's a Women's Commission page. Now, if you go there, we also have an email address available there in the newsletter. You may write to us, or you can write to any one of these 3 lovely ladies, and you can be specific in your question, because it is very well enunciated by Shreya and Shravantika. So you'll have to write to us in detail, and we can take it forward. Does that answer it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, and one more thing I would like to add on. So you've seen in this GOT program, because in GOT program they're not only focusing on the professional racing drivers, they're also giving you a touch of experience in the professional racing drive segment, and they're letting you to be part of the tire changing. So the tire changing is a mechanic's job. I mean, even the professional racing driver can do, but ultimately the person who's behind that is the mechanic and the team, the people who work behind your cart. So actually, they're giving you a touch of experience in that. And then, for Dynavision, which is the reflex thing, it's actually required for both. For the racing, for the martial, you need, the quickest reflex ever, because when you see, and you have to be really calm. You have to have a really good reflex as well as be calm, because you can't panic there. Once you panic, you're going to, unsettle the driver's mindset also, and that could lead into several injuries later. But motorsport is like you have wide range of opportunities. As Sita auntie said, your fmsci.co.in, that is the website's URL. So that is the most important thing. If you
I
follow,
want to add, these young ladies are sports women. Just because you're sitting in the car doesn't mean you're not physically fit. They work out on gyms. In gyms, they have special diets. They have to be absolutely physically fit. So this is a sport in which your companion is the car. And as Shravantika and Shreya said earlier, you have to know your car. It's your tool. It is your partner in this sport. So the more you get familiar with your car, with the person who's training you, and the skill set, you will be ahead of the game.
Yes,
as
yes.
auntie said, you have to trust your car, you have to trust your mechanic, because once you have the trust and affection towards them, you'll be able to put a better show.
Yes, yes. So on this note, I would like to tell everyone that I am not from a official motorsporting background, but I am from a student competition set. But I have attended this Women in Motorsport webinar. So as Sita ma'am said, you can put out your specific query to them over a mail. Maybe they can quickly reply you over there, because they have Sita ma'am actually have inspired me and guided me over the webinar. So I guess it would be easy for everyone if you really want to get into it and on a specific role. So and you wanted a really good path, you can do that. So they are all really helpful.
So far, we've been doing webinars till, we've done one webinar for martial and volunteer training, and we've done another one on pranayam and meditation, because going to the gym and working out is as equal as doing keeping your mind calm. So which you need pranayam. So Sita auntie conducted the webinar for us. She was guiding us through that. And then next we had the emotional intelligence, because nowadays the EQ is like not really focused compared to the IQ. So we've done 3 webinars so far, and we are actually planning to do the martial and volunteer field training, where you gone to the track and you'll be able to apply all your theoretical knowledge. So because
I want to add
motorsport,
one more thing, which is that motorsports is democratic. The boys and the girls race together. These young ladies beat boys on the track. So when I say beat, I mean they have the same kind of car, they have the same trainings, but their skill set is excellent. So the thing is, it is not a boys versus girl, it is equality. And as you know, motorsports instills in you teamwork, like working with so many people. It's not only you, with so many people in your team. And also you are building all skills, life skills as you go along. And you are a winner. The winner, as Shravantika said earlier and Shreya said earlier also, winning doesn't mean beating somebody. It means beating your own timing. How well are you improving? And the challenge is mostly with yourself. So, and I want to add one more thing, that motorsports has seen that parents have been an amazing support in getting in. For example, Shravantika and Shreya, both their fathers have been omnipresent on the track. They have been there supporting their girls, giving them training, getting them to the next level, providing equipment. Now, equipment in motorsport is quite a bit. Shreya, can you talk about the equipment required?
When you're in karting, the safety is the first priority because winning doesn't matter as long as you're safe. If you for participating in karting events, especially two-stroke events, you need professional equipment. You need proper helmets that will keep you safe, like Bell helmets, OMP helmets, a bunch of those kind of. You need all certified equipment. You need a suit that is has a license that will stay for at least 5 years, and you need to get a new suit once your old suit expires. You need proper gear. You need a neck protector to protect your neck. You need proper shoes, gloves. Everything needs to be on point, and you also need a rib protector, which will help you in case you have a crash, so that your rib doesn't get injured. But the main part is that you always need like professional equipment. You can't just race with a small padded suit and just go on track and race. You always need professional equipment to stay safe, because staying safe is the first priority.
And one more thing, FIA should certify every single equipment of yours, from your rib protector, from your socks to your helmet, because even officials check socks, because the kind of socks that FIA approves is actually fireproof. So in case of fire, nothing will happen to you if all your gears are perfect. And the rib protectors are seriously your lifesavers, because in karting your ribs will get affected so much because of because of the radiators vibration. So you can actually, because of a crash, you can get a hairline fracture in your rib. And I got a hairline crack in my rib once because of a huge crash. I mean, not very huge, but partially huge. So yeah, so all rib protectors and the suit, the triple layer suit actually saved my knee in that crash. So your equipment should be perfect. Once your equipments are perfect, your safety is like, you're really safe. And because motorsport is it is the most dangerous sport like after bullfighting. So then you can know the level of danger that motorsport has. But once your gears are all perfect, then everything is sorted.
Great. Sita ma'am, like I would like to thanks you a lot. So this was the second episode, and I really feel grateful to have you here.
Thank you.
We have to do a one more session with you, ma'am, especially with you. We will have some, maybe students might get a better clear picture, a bit more. They're like, I feel like they're lucky to have you here.
Thank you so much. The girls are amazing. They know all the information and they have done extremely well. I joined it because I was so excited that you had taken the initiative to invite people to join motorsports. So I congratulate you.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
So actually, please, women also have equal opportunity to get into sport, and men also have. So this is not actually, it's women's sport or men's sport. It's all equal. And once you get into the track, like, you don't actually consider, oh, you're a girl, I don't want to talk to you. All that is not there. So this is one good part of motorsport, and that's the reason why you want to stay here, because you feel like family. And yeah, so that is the only good part. I mean, that is also a good part in motorsport.
Like, we have one more question. Is age a factor?
Age is not a factor, it's never a factor. Like, you can start at almost any age as long as it's safe for you, because there are a lot of young people. Like, I have this one friend, he's about 8 years old. He started racing when he was 4. He started karting when he was 4 years old, and he's always been such an inspiration to me also, because he started at such a young age and he's still doing so well for his age and his capabilities, abilities. He is doing it really well. And age is never a factor. You can also be 40 and age. No one really cares at this point. It doesn't matter about your age. You just have to have the passion for racing. As long as you love racing, you're safe with racing, and you think you can actually do something, you can race. It doesn't matter whether you're 2 years old or 4 years old. Not actually two, but as long as it's safe for you, at 5 or 6 onwards, you can start racing. If you're 30, it doesn't matter if you're racing or not. It's just age is not a number. Age is just a number. Can't define you.
FMSCI only provides a license when you're about 12 years old, 11 plus.
No,
Right?
auntie, for karting, it's from the age of 7 to 25 is what they recommend, but they still provide you. I mean, for karting, it's still 25, but with
Yes.
the racing license, you can still race. So, actually, I would like to say here the eldest man who's racing right now, currently, he drove the 2020 first round of MRF. His name is Vidya Prakash uncle and VLG uncle. So they both actually they're above 70. So they're still racing.
We
So they
have veteran class. We have a veteran class also.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you can still race like, but after the age of 50, you have to provide your ECG report and all that to the.
Another area that continues motorsport is rallying. Now, rallying is a four-wheeler category in which you go from A to B to C to D with certain timings that have to be calculated. There's a whole program over there that has to be understood and worked out. And that carries on forever. I mean, you can be any age and continue rallying. You have the, what do you call it, the picnic rallies, which are not so pressurized for a person. And then there are the really serious rallies. So we have both of them. So you can also join there and learn how to rally and have a party at the end of it with the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, so there's time, speed, distance rally. It's called the TSD event, and then you have the Indian National Racing Championships, where it's like the serious rallies where you see
Correct.
you've been witnessing all the Asia Pacific Rally Championships and World Rally Championships. So all that is the serious rallying, but TSD
Correct.
events are times women's drive by GK tires and all that. And CSA from Coimbatore also conducts the event. But actually, TSD is like another, kind of a stepping stone for you. I mean, not a stepping stone actually, because uh, they're actually kind of different. So TSD is for fun. So if you want to still be part of the motorsport fraternity, and if you consider yourself as too old to actually drive in serious racing, then you can probably drive the TSD.
Great, great. So I guess everyone has got. I guess everyone had understood. Like I'm sure that they got a clear picture on how to start with. They now need not keep on working upon the starting point. You have really gave us a quick insight of everything on how to start with. And Sita ma'am, thanks for answering all the questions. So I would like Himanshu sir, the CEO of Skyrider, would you have some talk? Like,
Yeah, Prasna. So thank you. Welcome, Sita ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you got us some time and joined this session to help our audience. It's excellent. I didn't thought that this session will go so well actually. I must say, Sriya and Sravantika being so young, but they're doing so great job. I mean, I was laughing all the time actually. My mom is asking why I'm laughing, but I told how brilliant they are being so young and dynamic.
Correct.
It's great
Correct.
to have you both. And Sita ma'am, actually, will have more sessions with you. And let me tell you this Coffee with Achievers is started for our student and audience. Mostly the audience is our student, to make sure that they don't get demotivated, they don't get, the things happening around. They are locked in the home. So to help them, to inspire them, I started this series.
I
So I
think it's
think,
a great idea, Himanshu. Congratulations.
yeah. So I think we'll have persons like you in more episodes, and hope this mission will go way along and help our young generation to get their, into the right path. So again, thank you, Sriya, Sravantika, Sita ma'am, to be today present and help our audience. Prasna.